Do you find yourself questioning if you're saved, if you're really saved? They call it doubting your salvation. So you've found Jesus. Jesus has really found you, and he's drawing you to himself. Jesus said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." So you've come to Jesus to surrender your life because you're tired of doing it on your own. You're tired of the hopelessness, the fear, the doubt, the lies, the sin, the addiction. You're tired of all the old life. You've come to the right place. Jesus said, "My yoke is easy, my burden is light. Cast your cares upon me, for I care for you." But you find yourself not sure. You're like, am I really saved? And you keep praying. You keep praying the sinner's prayer. You may be going to church. You're doing the things, but you just don't feel like this experience. You don't feel this thing that you feel like you're supposed to feel. Trust me, I've been there. I know what it's like when I first came to Jesus to give my life and to get saved, so to speak. I went through for weeks. I was doubting and questioning if I'm really saved. We hear the famous verse, John 3:16, "For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him should not perish, but have everlasting life." And I think sometimes we get stuck. I got stuck on that word believe. So we try to believe, and we think we know what that means. And so we try to believe harder. We try to believe more. And we get caught in the cycle of thinking that salvation rests on us. And that's the problem that I think we run against when we're doubting our salvation. Doubting our salvation, or your salvation, is simply a symptom of putting your faith in yourself and not in Jesus and the finished work that he did on the cross. And it's almost like easier in a way to try to do it right, pray it right, say it right, believe it right, than to just simply let go and put your faith in Jesus' finished work and what he did on the cross. And that's the key right there. It's nothing that we did. It's everything that he did. He offers the free gift. He died for us while we were still sinning. If we weren't even going to turn to him, he would still die for us. And the gift is there. Salvation has been done. And now all our part is to simply believe in Jesus through faith, that he's the Son of God and that he's the only way to the Father. And without him, we have no other hope. And it's like when that clicks for you, that it's simply resting in Jesus and his finished work and not praying right and saying it right, everything makes sense and falls into place. And then you experience the peace of God that passes all understanding. If there's doubt, confusion, fear, that's not of God. That's of the enemy. And the enemy, I think, will come upon you in an attack while you're getting drawn towards God. He's going to try to put all the doubt and plant all the discouragement and all the fear and all the doubt and the lies. And, he's a defeated foe. And that's the only weapon he has, is deception, fear, and lies. When we put our trust in Jesus and we, by faith, just believe what he said, then we're placing, when he died, our life was placed in him. That's what it says in Ephesians, and we were raised with Christ to newness of life. So now we are in a place of oneness with Christ that we're far above the enemy. And if you understand that truth, the enemy's powerless, and that's his biggest fear. So he's going to do anything he can to keep you away from believing in Jesus and just resting in Jesus' work. It's nothing we can do at all. We can't get saved. We can't save ourselves. Only Jesus can save us. All we can do is put our faith and believe it. and receive his promises. So that's the difference. The enemy will try to trick you into you doing the work to save yourself, praying the right prayers to save yourself, saying the right things to save yourself, and just say it good enough to have access to be saved, when Jesus said, no, you're saved because I said you're saved. Now, will you receive it? Will you believe that? And sometimes that's harder. I know I'm repeating myself a little here, but that's the difference between knowing you're saved. You can know you're saved because you're trusting in Jesus, the one that saved you. And that's just simply faith versus trying to trust in your prayer, if that makes sense. The life of Christ is going to be lived through us. We are the temple now to the Holy Spirit. If you've given your life to God and you've trusted and if you're resting in his finished work, now you're the temple that he wants to dwell in. And our part is to simply say yes to him as he touches the different areas in our lives that don't please him and don't align with him. And let him do the leading, and we just keep saying yes and keep following after him. We're not doing things to make ourselves right in his eyes. We're simply being led by him. All right, guys, have a good Sunday. God bless you.